we have not heard that level of coordinated frontal assault on Republican obstruction of COVID relief or economic reconstruction.
Mm,
And there, the Democrats can be passing legislation
right.
and that matters to people. And that is where I think I have thought the attention should be with regard to opposing and weakening Trumpism now that Trump is out of office. Um,
Yeah,
but
well, this is where I'm, when we talk about Trump and everything that precedes and follows Trump and Trumpism, I'm, I can get very depressed and find despair very tempting. But on this point about the possibilities of progressive um, centrists and leftists kind of working together to present an alternative that actually affects people's lives, I'm pretty optimistic. So I think that I think it's very, very interesting that the tension between centrist Democrats and more progressive Democrats, actually of the party now, capital D,
Mhm.
uh, uh, um, has moved very far to the left. It's not hard for a kind of mainstream New York Democrat to be in favor of the idea of universal health care.
Right.
How you get to that, that's a debate. But of course, universal health care. You can ignore the virus with terrible consequences. But if we ignore the facts of climate change, the consequences will even be more immense. So, I mean, the idea of linking addressing the ecological crisis with kind of addressing the issues of social injustice uh, um, just makes sense. It just makes sense. So it won't be one program or another, but I think that it's likely that, well, that's less likely. But the idea of addressing COVID and social injustices surrounding the challenges of the disease and the response to it, I mean, that's what Biden presented already. It's almost a done deal.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, if we understand how the world works at all, it's going to affect people's lives. It's unpredictable how people are going to respond to it, but whether some things can be demonized, but if it's successful, if we all get our vaccines, if more, if it's um, um, if the minimum wage is increased, or at least that's on the agenda. If many, many things that are connected to that bill, which is going to pass.
Yeah, it will pass. You know, I think the next couple of years are going to be really interesting. Maybe the next year,
Yeah,
because the year after that's going to be already the 2022 race.
right.
And I do think that to some extent, Democrats are racing against time. And the question is, what can they do now to basically retain a legislative majority
Hmm.
2 years from now if they lose that? Again, this is not simply a matter of uh, 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 policy. It is a matter of the difference between a party that is broadly democratic, with a
Yes.
lowercase d, and one that is not. And, so the fact that the Republicans in this, in states are now, rushing to
Yes.
pull back some of the accessibility provisions in voting and to further limit voting accessibility and voting rights is very disturbing. And a lot of the political future, I think, lies in those
Yeah.
those efforts.